Hi, Pat from Northwoods again, ready to move to card number 2. These are our big, beautiful tulips in a frame. Again, taking a little bit of liberties with summer, we're going to call these early summer tulips, like really late spring tulips, early summer. So we're going to pull out the pink card next, which is this card, and then we're going to go ahead and color this step by step. Okay, first things first. This time, for the background, we just have a little bit of background, but instead of outside, it's going to be inside your frame. So you're going to take your marker, 533, layer some of the marker down. And actually, our artist, Jean Arneson, made these little darker shaded lines here. This is where you want to put your color. You want this to be the darker areas of your background. And then, because it's such a little area, I'm going to use a smaller paintbrush. So we're going to take that and just move that color right to the frame. So you're just going from the inside of the flower where the dark shaded area is, and moving it out towards the edge of the frame. So darker towards the image. And in this case, we're actually going lighter as we go away from the frame. So when you're done with doing all of that inside shading, you're going to look like that. So you can see that helps make that image pop. Okay, next we're going to take your yellow marker, and what you're going to do is color just part of these 5 tulips, your leaves, and then just a little bit of yellow on the middle part of your frame. And don't blend it yet. Now where the tulips are going to be pink, we don't want to layer down any yellow. Okay, so all 55, and then we won't blend that yet. Now the next step, we're going to work on the leaves and the frame. And again, we want these to be really bright. So I'm using 2 bright greens, 173 and 133. So what I'm going to have you do on your frame, you're going to color with the 133. We're going to add some color right here in the middle of the frame, and this part, and this part, and then you're going to add some of that lighter green on the leaves. But before you blend it, you're going to take your darker green, 173, and layer a pretty generous amount in the corners of each of the parts of the frame. And also here and here, generous amount. And then also on the leaves and the stems. So you have a base of yellow, and then we're going with a lighter shade of green, a brighter shade of green, and then finally a little bit darker. And then first we'll blend the frame out. And again, I want the corners to stay pretty dark. So I'll take my wet paintbrush, and then I'm going to pull that color from the corner to the center and just kind of work it back and forth. Now don't worry about going outside of the lines, going outwards, because you will be cutting this out anyway. So again, just work that back and forth, and that's what's going to give you that nice shaded area. And the same on all the corners. Back and forth. You can always add more water, but again, less is more. So just working those corners in, and then the same goes on these other corners. Also on the leaves, you're going to just take and blend those colors out. And again, you want to not have it all the same color. You want to leave it with some highlights of a little bit of yellow tone, a little bit of light green, a little bit of dark green. So play with that, but really easy to do. So basically working with a yellow marker, a lighter green, 133, and then a little bit darker, 173. So if you look at the next page, or I'm sorry, the next step, you can see how that looks when I have the green all shaded out. So it's a really bright, springy, early summer green. Okay, now we're gonna work with oranges for our orange tulips. We're gonna work with both the marker color 925, which is a little darker, and then also a color 905 that has just a little bit of red in it, a little bit more reddy orange. So we're gonna take the 925 and again, put some around the edges here. And again, our artist Jean has these shading lines, so you know you're gonna add more marker color here, the same here, and then like here, and then the same down here. But before you blend it, I'm gonna have you mix in this other orange, 905. So we're gonna add some of that just over the general area, like so. And then you'll take your wet paintbrush, make sure you get the green off of it, and then you're gonna pull those colors together. And again, if you find you're holding a lot of orange on that marker, wash it off between steps here. So say at this point, I don't want it to build up orange. I'm gonna take some of the orange off and then pull it in like that. You get these big, beautiful orange tulips. So just like that, you can work those colors together. So you're using 905 and 925. And then you'll continue to blend it as you go. And when you're done, your orange tulips will look like step number 3. Nice, bright orange tulips. Okay, the final step, we're gonna work with 2 different pink colors. We've got a pink, the 725, that's a really bright pink. I'm gonna put some of the bright pink here in the darker areas at the base and along here and here. And then I'm gonna put 703, which is a lighter pink, up on the top in this area and this area. Now this is really important. When you're blending the darker pink, it's got a lot of dye. So what you want to do is start pulling that color up like so, and then stop and clean your brush off, and then start working into the lighter pink. And then again, kind of some white highlights there. So again, clean your brush off. Start with the darker pink, and then clean your brush off, and then go into the lighter pink. Okay, let's do one more. Darker, that really intense pink, and then clean your brush off, and then go up into the lighter pink. Okay, so there we go. Your coloring is done. Now you can pull out your beautiful card. And what I did, I cut out the frame, and then I mounted it on a darker piece of pink to pull out the pink, and then a limey green color, and then a lighter pink to kind of pull out the 2 shades of pink that you've done. And then at this point, we'll do some glittering. And again, this time I have 2 colors out. I've got fresh lime, which is the green. Again, get that glue flowing. We're gonna add just a little bit of glue along the, and kind of just follow the lines of your leaf. That, again, I always say with glitter, you have to glitter, but less is more. And then we're gonna add some, and that is your, and see, it just makes those leaves pop. And now again, on the tulips, what I'm gonna do is just highlight a couple little areas. Just kind of just following up the shading on the tulips. And that's the look you get when you're done. So those are your big, beautiful tulips for spring, late spring, early summer. And the saying I put on here, this is good for any occasion. I just put a little new saying, happy birthday to you. You've completed card number 2.